What started out as a humble collection turned into something so much bigger. I started physical media collecting. It started off with this DVD right here, which isn't even the original copy. I had to buy another one because I love SpongeBob. I grew up loving SpongeBob. And over the years, it turned into such a massive collection. Now, I say this, collecting physical media is an addiction. I don't necessarily mean that with a positive connotation or a negative connotation, because it's up to you to decide, as long as you don't let it control your life. Which, I mean, I guess the word addiction implies something negative. For me, I don't think it is. I think it's a way to preserve history and preserve the past and the things you enjoy. And everyone's doing physical media these days. They're jumping back into it because it's popular. It's the new niche. And we now have movies in 4K, like The Truman Show. Or SpongeBob. Old CRT TVs, new 4K TVs. Nice shot. It doesn't stop. You think you're just gonna get some of your favorite shows, like regular show, right? Oh, it's gonna stop, I promise. Then you get Adventure Time and Dexter's Lab and all these other cartoons, and maybe you don't even watch them. Maybe you just like collecting them. Maybe one day you're gonna watch them, but it doesn't stop. You know, I have a whole box full of movies. I mean, we got DVDs, we got Blu-rays. This whole box, the whole bottom box, is just chocked full of Blu-rays. And then I've been throwing stuff on top because I have no room for any of it. It grows to the point where, I know you can't see very well, but look, all of these stacks, and then you go into the darkness. It doesn't stop. It does not end. So if it's something you want to get into, be my guest. But it does not stop. My love of old cartoons started picking up. So I bought this now way out of print box set of Pink Panther. Cool set, right? Now it goes for like a couple $100. So how are you supposed to get the Pink Panthers in HD again? Because, you know, stuff goes out of print. This is why you buy the things you like. This is why you buy South Park. You know, I actually just upgraded to all the Blu-rays and they're coming soon. I mean, the amount of money I spend on this stuff, it's like, yes, it's a lot, but it's also an investment. Like, this is all, I'm not even 20 yet. I really started collecting when I was, I think, 11 or 12, back in like 2017. I mean, you got Chip and Dale, the whole series. I'm soon to have every bit of South Park. You know, you got Pink Panther. You got American Dad. We have this nice UK release, which has the first 12 seasons. You know? Then you have stuff like Bob's Burgers. You get into Family Guy. I mean, these sets were like 16 a piece. You know? You got Futurama, King of the Hill, and The Simpsons. One of the longest running animated shows. You know, you got to collect them, right? Because classic. You got SpongeBob, and then you know, my love of film and television started, you know, really kicking off once I got into high school. You know, I always loved cartoons, but then you get into stuff like Full House, The Middle. Got into Breaking Bad when I started high school. You know, Better Call Saul. Frasier's a box that I just picked up. It's a show I've been wanting to check out. Everyone seems to really like it. King of Queens. Great box set, man. You know, I paid like 50-something bucks for this, and it went out of print for a few years. Now it's back in print, but man, I mean, it felt so nice being able to own that because, you know, even though we're talking about the benefits of physical media, stuff does go out of print. So the mere fact of actually owning it physically is kind of a, like, yeah, I'm glad I own it physically because now it's out of print. That doesn't help people who are trying to get it who don't have it. But, you know, sometimes things go back in print. But, you know, you don't want to buy into the FOMO too much. You do also want to collect the things that you like and that you want to have for whenever things go bad. I mean, streaming's not going to be around forever. Trying to chase down your favorite shows is ridiculous. I've tried new shows that I never probably would have tried, like Broad City. I found, you know, I found this on Hamilton Book for a couple dollars, and I was like, I'll try it. I don't hate it. It's a show I probably, like I said, wouldn't have tried otherwise. And then I found, season 2 at Goodwill, a couple bucks. These weird import Blu-rays, like Arrested Development. This is a German Blu-ray, but it has English audio, so I can have all of Arrested Development on Blu-ray. You're not going to get these things, on streaming. I mean, yeah, I guess streaming might have HD quality, but the bit rates are terrible. Things don't look good in consistent streams. I mean, at least with the DVDs, even though they're 480p, you get a consistent stream, assuming it was a decently done master for the disc. I mean, with this Malcolm in the Middle box set, we have a show that really, struggled to be on a streaming service for a while. I think it's now on Hulu and stuff, but, you never know when shows are going to be around. Some shows just stay around. Like, I'm pretty sure My Name is Earl's been on Hulu for years and years, but like that 70s show, it could go away because, Danny Masterson, all that stuff happening. I think it was on Netflix or is on Netflix, but whenever they feel like it, they can just decide, all right, well, there's this thing going on, so we're just going to take that off so they don't get heat for having it, which is so dumb. Separate the art from the artist. That's what physical media, I think, concrete in our society is like, look, we made art. We are people, we're human beings, and we make mistakes or, just do really bad things. But you shouldn't, it's like hiding history. It's like saying that, World War II didn't happen or Vietnam didn't happen. When you suppress things and censor things, you're lying and you're being deceitful. And it's like physical media is the antithesis of that. It's a raw capture of what it was. It's a preservation, assuming it was, preserved the right way. And usually, with the cancel culture stuff that comes later. But, like It's Always Sunny, dude. This is a great example. There's episodes pulled now, and the only way to watch them is on these DVDs. Now, granted, you get into the later seasons and the DVDs are shoddier and stuff, but, you did get some Blu-rays for a while. We jump over into movies. I mean, this is like my little, at the beginning of my movie section, and this is where I really like, things in high school just like changed for me. I was animation. I still love cartoons and animation to this day, but one of the biggest influences for me, like, let's start with this American movie. This was a movie I watched in our sci-fi film class. Now, it's not a sci-fi movie, but it was a little documentary just about making movies, because that was one of the goals of the class, is make a short film. And we got to see this amazing documentary. One of the best things that, maybe it's, you could argue about it being a documentary or about it being, a movie itself. Point is, this inspired me to get into filmmaking, and I want to make films. Like, this right here, this piece of art is responsible for sparking so much creativity in me. And then the next year, I took another one of the film classes that was just straight film, had nothing to do with sci-fi. And of course, I don't have the movie actually out here with me because it's in a different section for a different reason, which I won't get into, but it's supposed to be in and around here. The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman and Anne Bancroft. What a movie. That movie just completely changed everything for me. This was, American movie was good inspiration, but Graduate was just this is a beautiful film. It can evoke such emotion. And it, it's just spiraled out of control. You get into things like, my Quentin Tarantino collection down there. I watched those movies a while ago, and some of them I liked, some of them I didn't. But now I can revisit them, and I recently rewatched Pulp Fiction, and it's one of my favorite movies now. Everyone's liked it for a long time. When I first watched it, I didn't. But I came back to it, and because I can do that with physical media. I can come back to it. I don't have to just hope and pray it's on a streaming service. And that brings me to my boutique collection. That started getting me into really weird films that I've never heard of before. One of the first foreign films that really struck me was Wild Strawberries, an Ingmar Bergman film. And, it was one of the first Criterions I purchased, and it just got me going on this roll. And now I pick up, foreign films all the time. I pick up things that I probably would have never tried before. We got these really cool releases from Radiant Films, these Japanese, Cantonese movies, French movies. There's a really good Spanish movie that, because of physical media, I can check out. I got really into John Carpenter. We got They Live and Prince of Darkness, and like Shout Factory has released like most of his movies. I get to have the full catalog of directors I love. It's, spawned into other things. Like my all-time favorite network is Cartoon Network. Like it's my big collection that I try to like showcase. I'm proud of like being able to track down these Australian Blu-rays and, like Over the Garden Wall on Blu-ray, all of Adventure Time on Blu-ray, Steven Universe, most of the show on Blu-ray, the We Bare Bears DVDs. I mean, things that without going online and purchasing, and had I not got them at the right time, I would not own this. This is incredibly hard to get, and then it got me into my own bootlegging, like, making my own sets for shows that are never going to get released. That's a part of preservation, and it's leading me to my business. I got a job at a video game store, which sells movies as well, and it's been so integral in my life growing up. It's bled into everything I've done. Yes, I spend a lot of money on it, but I make money off of it now. I mean, I don't quite make money on my YouTube channel, but I work at a place that sells movies and sells, video games, and it's just turning into this thing. I'm going to launch a business that, centers around physical media. It's a way of life for me because it's not just collecting items. To me, it's you're preserving an art piece, someone's feelings that they could only convey this way, something that sparks a conversation that hopefully, means something to someone, that moves them in such a way that could change their life completely. I mean, you have that with books, you have that with paintings, you have that with music, but when you combine everything to this glorious, medium that is film, I feel like it does things to you that, could not be done by others. Like Truman Show is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's so sad and so heartbreaking, and really speaks to the reality of our human existence, the human condition. It's something I will always be grateful for. These Blu-rays up here, I just started buying, with my tax return. Like that Drive 4K Steelbook, I started out watching that on this DVD right here. I picked this up for a couple dollars somewhere, and I'm like, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen, and I finally upgraded. And it's like, that's just not how streaming works. Streaming doesn't immerse me in the same way that physical media does. Talk about not censoring things. We have like George Carlin, one of the greatest comics of our time. Ricky Gervais, like, you get better quality for sure. Like, look at this. Whoever imagined we'd get Seinfeld on 4K Ultra HD? Like, that is insane. It was locked on DVD for like 20 years, and it jumped straight to 4K with a Blu-ray. And, there's been a lot of arguments about the Blu-ray being the wrong aspect ratio, but the 4K was done right, and that's, some people argue, a way to capitalize on, wanting it in the correct aspect ratio, and that's a whole conversation. But, the fact that we even have that, or what kicked it off, I would say, is Friends. Friends and Seinfeld have always kind of been competitors, but, like 30 Rock, that's a show I got to just sit down and watch because I had the Blu-ray. Community, same thing. I just sat down and binged it, and let's talk about another thing. Binge watching shows. The greatest thing about physical media, no fucking ads, dude. I mean, you have ads sometimes before the discs, but these Mill Creek like budget sets, they have like an intro, and that's about it. And then you can skip that, and you just get to watch the episodes. Like, they're not the best quality. Mill Creek's like a budget company, but it's certainly better than DVD, and it's again gonna be a better consistent stream than streaming. The bit rates are just gonna be solid. And these Blu-ray discs are, scratch resistant. They've got a better coating. For me, there's so many conveniences on top of being the be-all end-all for storing these things. And, with 4K, we have films looking better than they have ever looked in their entire existence. And yes, look at this. It's large. It's, some would say this is obsession, and in some ways I wouldn't even disagree, but it's for the right reasons. Because in life, people want to take everything away from you. People want to make you rent things and lease and not own, because with owning you get freedom. When you buy land and you own land, it's yours. You're free to do what you want with. Same thing with physical media. And let's talk about something that I was just reading up on. Doctor Who. There are episodes that are completely lost now. I mean, the audio's been found, but the visuals are lost, and BBC is now like, hey, like, from these private collectors or ex-employees that, stole some stuff. It's like, well, the fear from those people that I was reading is that they're going to get in trouble. And I don't blame them, because companies want to do that. But, look at these companies now. Like, they want the footage. They want the episodes. But that's why I don't think bootlegging is a bad thing. I mean, you remember the HBO Max thing with Infinity Train. Let's go back over here. Where's my Infinity Train? Yeah, down here. Infinity Train was getting pulled off of, HBO Max, and was going to just be a tax write-off and maybe even, like, deleted forever. Close enough had that happen, pretty much. The creator of the show was like, please bootleg this, please pirate this, and weirdly enough, we got the first 2 books on DVD, which is rare for Cartoon Network shows generally, or at least in the last like 5 years. But it's because of, just tax write-offs. We're just getting rid of a show. Okay, we're just pretending it didn't exist. You know how insulting that is to the people that worked on it? It's such a service to just have these at our fingertips for whenever we feel in the mood for it. And in, the best quality, you all you need is electricity. You don't even need internet. You don't need, you can enjoy this with a very minimum amount of things. If you have some shelter, boom, you get a little solar panel, you run your TV, your DVD player, and you can just be chilling out. It's changed my life for the better. I see everyone kind of jumping back on it now because they realize like that we need to stand up and we need to take back what is ours. These corporations can't just keep hiding stuff from us, taking it away from us. It's like, this is, art is a service of the public. If you want to make art and not release it, that's on you. That's on the individual. But when these corporations are hiding these things that clearly the, people who made it want it to be seen and want it to be loved and enjoyed, your option is to rebel. And that's what physical media is for me. It's a way of life. It's a way of saying screw you to the companies. You are funding them when they are releasing them themselves, but ultimately in the long run, you do win. That's the message I want to spread. Fight back by owning, Maybe don't go as crazy as me. Maybe don't just constantly buy, but if you're in the position and, you enjoy it, I see no reason not to. Like, I'll end on this note. This movie was, I heard about this movie. So I bought it for like $17, and it was one of the best movies I have ever seen. The way the music just moved me, the story, right after watching this movie, I hunted down a copy of the soundtrack, and it's expensive and kind of out of print, hard to find, but I paid the price because the music to me makes me feel a certain way that it's better than drugs or anything it feels right. And I found no like good rips of the songs online, so I'm like, I gotta get the CD, and that's, a way to preserve that stuff. So if you do this the right way, physical media can be a great addition to your life. In fact, I have a YouTube channel about it. That's what you're watching it on. This YouTube channel has changed my life, and hopefully will continue to for the better. This is my love letter to physical media. And let me know what you think down in the comments. What does physical media mean to you? I'll see you guys in the next one.